Hi, welcome to the Crypto Republic. Before we dive in, if you're serious about staying ahead in this once-in-a-lifetime financial shift, make sure you like this video, drop a comment, and subscribe to the Crypto Republic. The CFTC just dropped a bombshell, and I don't use that word lightly. For years, Ripple and XRP have been fighting an uphill battle in the United States, while adoption exploded overseas. Europe rolled out MiCA, Asia embraced blockchain payments, the Middle East has been onboarding Ripple for real-world finance. And yet here in America, everything felt like a waiting game, like being stuck at the train station while the rest of the world already boarded. But now the CFTC just sent a signal that could change everything, a signal that points directly to Ripple's path to U.S. adoption. This isn't just another headline. This could be the turning point where XRP finally gets the clarity it needs to move from the shadows into the heart of the American financial system. So if you hold XRP, this is not the moment to tune out. This is the moment to lean in, because what I'm about to walk you through could determine how the next chapter of crypto history is written. Think about it like this. In the 1990s, regulators had a choice. Either treat the internet like a dangerous toy or build a framework that allowed it to flourish. We know what happened. The internet went on to redefine the world's economy. The CFTC's move today feels eerily similar. To understand why this update matters, let's zoom out. Tokenization is not a theory anymore. It's happening. We've already crossed the threshold where billions of dollars worth of assets live on-chain. Tokenized treasuries, tokenized real estate, tokenized stocks, all of it is accelerating at a pace we haven't seen since the early dot-com bubble. In fact, monthly transfer volume for tokenized assets is now surging into the hundreds of millions, while growth percentages that make Wall Street double take addresses are skyrocketing. Holders are multiplying, institutions are circling. And in this ecosystem, Ripple is not a bystander. It's one of the major arteries carrying the blood of this new system. The XRP ledger is already powering tokenized pilots, settlement networks, and cross-border experiments. Sure, compared to Ethereum, it might look small today, but remember, Amazon looked like a garage store in 1997. Here's the kicker. The US has been lagging behind. Europe has regulatory clarity. Asia has greenlit blockchain for payments. The Middle East is actively using Ripple to settle remittance and central bank experiments. But America has been stuck in what I call regulatory quicksand. Not moving forward, not moving backward, just sinking slowly while the rest of the world races ahead. That's why this CFTC confirmation is so powerful. It's not just paperwork. It's the U.S. government admitting we cannot ignore this anymore. Think about history. When America joined the Industrial Revolution, it didn't just participate, it took the lead. Same with the internet, same with aviation. And now with blockchain, the U.S. is at risk of losing leadership, unless agencies like the CFTC step up. And that's exactly what's starting to happen. So what exactly did the CFTC say? In plain language, the CFTC confirmed its position on Ripple and crypto clarity, signaling that XRP and by extension Ripple has a pathway for U.S. adoption. Even more importantly, the CFTC emphasized harmonization with the SEC. For decades, these two agencies were like rival kingdoms, fighting over who controlled what. Meanwhile, innovation was caught in the crossfire. But that era might be over. The CFTC and SEC are now openly working together to build a joint regulatory framework. Imagine the U.S. Constitution being signed. That's what this feels like for crypto markets. Two warring camps finally sitting down to write the rules of the new financial world, and Ripple is sitting at the table. Look at these partners named in these initiatives: Circle, Coinbase, Crypto.com, Tether, and Ripple. These aren't fringe startups. These are the companies shaping the next financial rails. The fact that Ripple is included tells you everything. Let me give you a historical analogy. In 1933, the U.S. abandoned the gold standard, fundamentally reshaping the monetary system. That decision didn't just change Wall Street, it changed global trade, currencies, and power structures for generations. The CFTC's move today may not feel as dramatic in the moment, but mark my words, it's one of those inflection points. Let's cut through the noise. XRP isn't just a coin, it's infrastructure. It's the plumbing that can move money the way the internet moves information. Banks run on outdated wires and slow settlements. Cross-border payments still feel like mailing a letter in the Pony Express era. Ripple's technology makes the system obsolete, just like cars made horse-drawn buggies obsolete. Now the lawsuit with the SEC cast a long shadow. For years it was Ripple versus the Goliath regulator. But notice the timing. The lawsuit faded, clarity started emerging, and suddenly Ripple is back in the room with the same agencies that once fought it. That's not coincidence, that's strategy. Here's why it matters. U.S. adoption of Ripple and XRP isn't just about company. It's about the blueprint for utility-based crypto. If Ripple can get regulatory blessing, it sets the precedent for every other project with real-world use cases. Think of it like the railroads in the 1800s. Once the government standardized track gauges, suddenly trains could connect coast to coast. Commerce exploded. Ripple's clarity is a standardized track gauge for blockchain finance. Without it, the rails remain fragmented. With it, everything connects. Now let's look even bigger. The CFTC's update isn't just about XRP, it's about the entire financial system shifting on-chain. Tokenized stocks are already here, closing on $1 billion worth. Stablecoins are eating into bank wires, offering faster, cheaper transfer. Treasuries are being tokenized for instant settlement. These aren't small experiments. These are the foundations of 24/7 global blockchain-based market. Wall Street is terrified. Why? Because the old model doesn't fit this new world. New York Stock Exchange took decades to move from paper tickets to digital trades. Now we're talking about going from 9 to 5 market hours to round-the-clock trading. The only way to make that possible is blockchain. Remember when airlines deregulated in the 1970s? Suddenly ticket prices dropped, more people could fly, and the industry exploded. That's what 24/7 blockchain markets will do to finance. Cut costs, increase access, and unleash adoption. And Ripple is right there, positioning XRP as the settlement layer for this new world. If stablecoins are the dollars of the digital economy, XRP could be the rails they run on. So let's bring this home. The CFTC's Bombshell is more than a headline. It's a signal that Ripple's path to U.S. adoption is finally visible, a signal that regulatory clarity is no longer a dream. It's a process, motion. For XRP holders, this is the wake-up call. We're no longer waiting for the world to notice Ripple. The world is already onboarding Ripple. The only question is whether the United States will lead or follow. We're standing at the edge of history, just like the birth of the internet, just like the rise of the stock market, just like the transition off of gold. These are moments you don't get often, and XRP is at the center of them right now. So ask yourself, do you want to watch this from the sidelines, or do you want to understand it, prepare for it, and potentially benefit from it? Because whether you believe it or not, the train has left the station, and Ripple is driving. Drop a comment with your XRP price prediction after this CFTC Bombshell. Let's get the conversation going, because the more people understand what's happening, the faster adoption will spread. This is not financial advice. This is financial history unfolding in real time. Stay sharp, stay informed, and as always, XRP holders, stay awake. This opens your eyes. Smash that like button, ring the bell, leave a comment with your thoughts, turn on notifications, and most importantly, subscribe to the Crypto Republic, bringing you the truth about XRP, global banking moves, and the wealth transfer already unfolding. Don't just watch history happen. Stay informed, stay ahead, stay in the Republic.